I'm Scott, and this is episode 5 of What Makes This Map Great. In this series, we take a deep dive into classic games that hold a special place in my gaming heart. We're going to explore their amazing level design, beautiful art, creative combat encounters, as well as uncover their hidden secrets and see just how much they've influenced the gaming world. And in this episode, we're covering Quake, E1M8, Ziggurat Vertigo. All sources used for this video will be linked down in the description below. Like, sub, do all the YouTube stuff. It's greatly appreciated. Let's get into it. Ziggurat Vertigo is the secret level of episode 1, Dimension of the Doomed for Quake. It's officially numbered E1M8. Secret levels are always considered the last of the set of levels for each episode. This map is crafted by another legend in the gaming industry, level designer American McGee. You might recognize his name from his work post-Quake, most notably the grim fantasy series of games called Alice. Just amazing creative titles, but back to Quake. This would be the player's first introduction to American McGee's map style. That's assuming they found the secret exit in the prior level, which is E1M4, the Grizzly Grotto. Ziggurat Vertigo gives us enclosed, large spaces, lava moats surrounding a temple-like structure, and it's all thick with a dark, unsettling vibe. And what makes exploring this map so much fun is that the gravity is set to 1/8 of the standard gravity of Quake. This creates for some interesting physics with level design that complements the change in gravity. At first, it really catches the player by surprise. The prior levels, you're circle strafing, running fast, and now you're being forced into these huge jumps and mid-air gunfights. This could lead to some players accidentally jumping and flying into a bad situation, or maybe even falling into lava. Ziggurat Vertigo also gives you one of the most powerful weapons in Quake, an explosive addition to the arsenal. As usual, for some context as to the player experience up to this point, they have traveled from a military tech base where mindless grunts guarded the slipgate, a machine capable of dimensional travel. The player steps through it and finds themselves in the Dimension of the Doomed, a realm that is a mixture of old haunted castles and dark underground caverns with monsters beyond our understanding. Let's not waste any more time. Let's dive right in. We literally drop into this map, and it should be immediately apparent that something is different about this level. Yeah, it's dark and ominous, and there's lava, but most importantly, the gravity is lighter here as we safely drop down and take no damage. Interestingly, if the player doesn't move at all while falling down, they land into an indentation in the floor. And this is intentional level design here. American McGee wants us to jump in case we didn't notice the zero gravity quite yet. So when you jump to get out, you're floating and you have some air control, but it's kind of slow, as you can see. We've also got this ogre standing on this like pencil ledge straight across from us, and it doesn't even notice us. It didn't even notice us as we spawned into the map here. And he doesn't wake up unless if you shoot at it or if you approach in his general direction. I guess ogres don't have 20/20 vision in Quake. So here we'll take a leap, move a little closer. I've alerted another ogre at a much higher level point of the map. And now this one's woken up. And take notice at the grenades that he's launching. They're just floating right over our heads. And if we tried to aim straight on, our grenades do the same thing. So Part of the fun of using the grenade launcher in this level is aiming slightly down, and you can get some direct hits using it. Let's take a moment and sort of soak in the sights here. The main feature of this room is this ziggurat structure in the middle. It's surrounded by a pool of lava, moats floating up into the air, higher than usual due to the low gravity, and they're lighting up this dark space with dynamic lighting. We notice some walkways that are blocked by metal bars. Ledges above invite us to take a leap and explore this space, taking advantage of the light gravity here. And this elevator shaft in the corner, some really nice brushwork, creating those repeating narrow windows. You get some neat variation in lighting, looking up this towering elevator shaft. This map isn't like an old haunted castle or even a cavernous earthy cave like in our previous levels. This place seems to be in a deeper, much darker part of the dimension of the doomed. Ancient metal textures fill the space with large skulls placed along the perimeter of the ziggurat. This metal looks like it might have some moss on it, which makes me think this space is hot and wet, with the drier areas above having more rust-like metal. Speaking of the ceiling, you can see windows that give you a peek of what's above. Who knows what kind of creatures lurk in the shadows of these depths. So our first secret is early on in this level, and it's paired with our first introduction to a great power-up, the pentagram of protection. There really aren't... Ow. That lava moat landed on me and hurt me. So there aren't really any obvious hints for this secret. You really have to be paying attention if you stand right in front of this pentagram protection against this wall and listen carefully. You catch the hint sound of a teleporter nearby, and that's like the only clue. I didn't discover this secret until I played Deathmatch on this map, and a friendly opponent online showed it to me. They kept getting the quad, and I was like, where's the quad on this map? Alright, so we grab the pentagram, and we grab the yellow armor, backtrack, take a peek down at this lava on the right of this walkway, and drop in. It's got some depth. Try and see through the red of pain and swim through and up. And here's the quad with a teleporter. So this part's fun. You are pentaquadded up. Let's not waste time. Let's rush to this elevator, take it up. My protection just ran out, but we can still make full use of this. To the left here is the rocket launcher, which is an amazing weapon, and if you're not pented up and fire it with the quad damage, you probably die, just like I did. So let's try that again. Alright, this time we'll move a little quicker. Can enjoy that pentaquad action. And this time I'm gonna rush past the ogres. Get the rocket launcher. Boom. And this part's fun. Jump straight up. Taking any self-damage from the rockets does not hurt. Wow, that's Scrag. MVP for dodging all my rockets. So yeah, if you notice, that elevator goes up super quick. I think American McGee really wanted to rush us up to have some fun while we're roided up with the pentaquad. Even if you didn't find the quad in the secret, at least you could have the pentagram for this encounter to protect you. Naturally, you know, you can use the grenade launcher and start going to town on these ogres, but there's really a better tool for this situation, and it's the rocket launcher. So once all the enemies are cleared, we can take a breather. There's a mega health that invites us to not only pick it up, but to also press the button right next to it. A faint sound cue hints that gates are lowered nearby, but let's take a moment to break this area down, as there are some cool design elements that are easy to miss when you're speeding through here, taking advantage of the pentaquad and the rocket launcher. This space is pretty large, providing the player plenty of space to jump and float around and avoid most of the damage from these ogres and scrags. Multiple platforms provide you some landing options, though if you miss any, it could potentially lead you all the way down below to the room where we started. On that same note, you have some crazy sight lines looking all the way down to the lava pool and the Ziggurat room. McGee is really taking advantage of that Z-axis, showing off this verticality and layering between spaces. And of course, the motif of this level, metal as fuck. The dark metal wall textures, metal rusted trim textures, and this interesting fan-like patterning for the tiling on the floors. Just beautiful texture work that pairs nicely with the moody lighting. And the lighting sources are placed strategically to match the lighting sources here. There are emissive spotlight textures on parts of the flooring, creating cone lights, and the trim along the upper edge uses some kind of great lighting texture. Okay, so we just pressed the button and some gates lowered nearby. We take a nice trip down along this back corner here. This ledge lets us top off with health pickups, some ammo, and we can even proceed down to the bottom floor from here. This is also another good opportunity to just explore these ledges. Of course, I failed my jump. But, you know, to top off on any ammo before you leave this space. So the player is given two options. You've got the gates within the Ziggurat and also the gates to the far right of this big chamber. And these two options both will allow us to continue forward into the neighboring space. Me personally, I like to take the outer right path. And upon entering this new room, instead of a ziggurat, we have a monolithic structure surrounded by pools of lava. Looking up, we see a similar verticality here as the prior room. There are layers of structures, bridges, and platforms which kind of invite the player to maybe take a leap. There's even some cursed symbolism on the wall. An interesting choice by the texture artists at id, considering this game is mostly inspired by Lovecraftian horror versus religious horror. So we have a few options. Since the elevator is shut from us, these bars are opened elsewhere, do we take a leap or do we explore the ground level a bit more? I like to take things sort of one level, one floor at a time on this map, so we're gonna go left of the elevator here. We find an entryway to the base of this monolithic structure surrounded by lava. Upon approaching it, this ogre spots you and he's trying to prevent you from entering, so we've got the rocket launcher, we'll take him out. This scrag is also angry at us. One rocket puts him out as he slowly floats. Oh, he almost landed in the lava. So now we enter this structure and there's an ogre up top. Thankfully, ogres don't know how to aim downwards. And, you know, again, the rocket launcher is the go-to weapon. It's a perfect weapon for this map. Nades arch and float upwards. Rockets go straight. Beautiful. Shower of gibs and zero gravity. I've got a master's degree in Quake science. You know, it's quite easy to understand, really. So after dealing with this ogre, we jump up to the second floor and we find another button. Upon pressing it, we hear the sound of a nearby gate opening. Potentially the one that blocked us from using the elevator. But instead of going straight to the elevator, I like to go across from this button. There's an open doorway leading to a short bridge with health and ammo. So we hop up. Got some ogres here on the next level. We deal with them using our trusty rocket launcher. To the left, we've got the Cursed Jesus wall, which happens to hold a mega health within a small alcove. I guess there is some light within this cursed dimension. And straight ahead from where we dealt with these ogres, we also have another pentagram of protection. This is really a contradictory situation. Anyways, this is leading up to a tough fight, and here is how I like to approach it. Okay, so first we leap over and grab the mega health, and then return back, grab the pentagram of protection. While we're up here, deal with the ogres firing at you, immediately drop down to the elevator shaft. Take it up. And right above, we have this pleasant surprise, the Shambler. Pentagram gives us proper protection for that encounter. So, pro tip, Shamblers are actually resistant to rockets. They only take half damage from them. So you know what that means. It's time to go back to that trusty super nail gun and just unload on it. What's tricky about this fight is if the Shambler catches you while floating in the air, it has a tendency to shoot lightning bolts at you and keep you juggled in the air. It's an embarrassing way to die, to be honest. But a pentagram should be keeping you safe during this encounter, long enough to kill the Shambler. With the Shambler dead, this room almost mirrors the room opposite of this space. You know, the one with the rocket launcher and all the ogres. Different platform placement, of course. One cool visual trick I like here is the use of cone lights flanking the button that was guarded by the Shambler. It's a great way to create contrast and invite the player in to press it. Upon pressing it, some doors open nearby. I like to grab the yellow armor at this point. It kind of sets you up for some optimal sight lines to enemies that guard your way forward. Okay, so we leap forward, grab the yellow armor, and while this gives us a perfect sight line to this ogre, you'll notice that the placement, the height placement of this ledge is just perfect for them to launch grenades at you directly in your direction. So you gotta be quick and on your toes to dodge. Let's take them out. There's one more down here too, and you know, we'll rain down some rockets to take care of him as well. Alright, so like I was saying, this is really clever map design. You can tell that with the gravity alterations done, McGee took the time to space things out in this level in a way that sort of reinforces the gravity. So the map design works in tandem with the gravity change. It's not just some random effect. You have to think of building your level very differently with that kind of change. Big change done to a core element of the game. All right, so the narrow bridge the ogres were guarding. We're gonna take a short leap and a drop. And up ahead, we find a hallway leading to the silver key. Before we do though, there's one more ogre to our left here. I'll take him out. Okay, so this key is just begging you to pick it up. But this room, it's all a trap setup. It's quite ominous. The key room is filled with skulls and weird runic patterns along the walls. Even the platform that the silver key floats above is covered in blood. My imagination likes to think that this may be some kind of sacrificial room. Upon grabbing it, 3 scrags spawn in behind us. No problem. Make quick work of them with our rocket launcher. So from here, grab the nails. I like to go down the stairs. And you're given some options here. Directly underneath the stairs is this small alcove with health pickups if you need them. But then directly to the left of the stairs brings us back to the main open area. You can see the silver key door just above, and there's plenty of nails here for you to stock up, which is greatly appreciated, especially after that shambler fight. Alright, so after picking up those nails, we leap up to this top area, and using our silver key on the door, we are greeted by an angry ogre. Best strategy here is to just jump straight up, and you avoid any of its grenades. You avoid the close range chainsaw. Drop back once it's safe and clear out the room from the final ogre. This room like wrecked me back in the day. It was a nasty surprise right behind the door, especially if you have your rocket launcher in hand and you just instinctively shoot it point blank. And that's a quick lesson there, learning rockets close range. They hurt. But you know, this isn't my first time playing Quake. Okay, so now we step into the silver key room, and to our right is the exit for the level. There's a portal, and it's sort of bound and contained by this metal runic archway, and there's some really cool geometric design used for that framing. Really neat stuff. But hold on, before we exit, we need to grab one final secret on this map. There's this back hallway here, and if we take a stroll over, you've got some health, which looks like I need it. And if you take a moment and look at the walls, you'll notice this section of the wall sort of appears like a door frame. Hit it with our axe, and you've got the secret area, the last secret area of this map. Got some nails, and you may notice this is a familiar space. This is like the first thing you see when you go up the first elevator. It's this like cage-like room with nails hidden behind it. This is where all those ogres were, where you pick up the rocket launcher. So a cool sort of loop, if you will, a similar horseshoe sort of mechanic design in this map, except used vertically, really. Alright, so this map is cleared. We backtrack to the teleporter, and we step through, leaving behind this nightmare realm. We're shown the stats screen here, and it's showcasing this beautiful space in this level where the Shambler was at the very top, almost like a mini boss build-up encounter to that moment. And you get peeks and hints as you look down into this level, and you can see the lava in the bottom left space there. Just that layering, you know, and the immense size too is quite epic. After leaving this terrible place, we return back to a somewhat comfortable setting again, filled with haunted castles and undead crypts. Before us is the Gloom Keep, which, in all honesty, I'm considering skipping this map. It's a good map. It's fine, but I wouldn't consider it a great map. So maybe you can convince me down in the comments whether I should cover this map next. Otherwise, we'll be moving on to the next map after this, which I won't spoil it because it's another amazing map, and it's done by American McGee again. We'll cover that one in a separate video. So here's the part where I go over some quick trivia about our featured map. This map was originally referred as Map 2. This might hint that it was the second map American McGee worked on for Quake. American McGee, along with Kevin Cloud and Tim Willits, were part of id Software's second generation of developers. He also worked on other id games like Ultimate Doom, Doom 2, Hexen, Quake, and Quake 2. E1M8 is the only map in the entirety of Quake that uses an altered gravity environment. There's other levels that introduce I would say, altering gravity mechanics, such as like wind tunnels that push and pull you through and around the map. But unlike Ziggurat Vertigo, it is a permanently altered gravity feature. You could also consider that the altered gravity served as almost a demonstration on how flexible and tweakable the Quake engine is in Tech 2. Each level designer found ways to push and showcase all of the engine's amazing features. Meanwhile, American McGee walked up to Carmack's desk one day and was like, "Hey man, I want to lower the gravity on this level." And John was like, "That sounds neat, sure," as he furiously coded the feature into the engine. Really, this was such a novel feature for the time. So what makes E1M8 a great map? First, the light gravity. The gravity change really required American to complement every design choice and combat encounter with that in mind. All of the platform placements, the ledges you can intentionally jump onto or unintentionally, they were all meticulously designed with this altered gravity in mind. It's why the spaces feel so large, with interesting and fun jump and float opportunities provided for the player. As for the enemy encounters, they also complement this altered gravity state. It made sense to use mostly ogres for this map because watching their grenades float around in these giant spaces, it's a spectacle to watch. But it also causes this great sense of chaos and danger. Even the height difference between platforms can either give the player an advantage or put them at a disadvantage. It really makes the player think twice about their jumping patterns. And getting the rocket launcher in this map was the icing on the cake, in my opinion. Having a tool that can just direct line a rocket as opposed to lobbing grenades gives you this strong power fantasy, let alone watching jibs fly around in this light gravity environment. It's great. This is an amazing map by American McGee. His unique vision on creating maps that exist in deep and dark, unsettling dimensions, all while pushing the gameplay experience in new ways, helped define some of Quake's most memorable moments in gaming. What are your thoughts on E1M8 Ziggurat Vertigo? The first time you played this level, were you able to find the quad damage secret in the lava? Let me know down in the comment section. Also, I'm considering skipping the next map in Quake, E1M8 Gloom Keep. It's a good map, but it's not really great in my opinion, and I'm actually considering skipping it and moving on to the next one. But if you think differently, then please try and convince me and let me know down in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, share it with friends, and subscribe for more great gaming content. And if you'd like to see more, check out this recommended video right here. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.